Now, this is breaking news from the WCCO Live Desk on CBS News Minnesota.
Good afternoon, I'm Maria Lizignoli. We're following breaking news right now. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison just wrapped up a news conference to announce what his office is calling a major lawsuit against the federal government. In a brief news release today, the attorney said the lawsuit is aimed at protecting trans children. Here's what he had to say.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the press and the state of Minnesota. Thank you for being here today. I'd like to announce that I'm suing the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and Attorney General Pam Bondi, and the United States Department of Justice. Here is the opening line of our lawsuit. Minnesota brings this lawsuit to stop President Trump and his administration from bullying vulnerable children in this state. How did we get here? You might wonder. In January and February, President Trump issued a series of executive orders targeting transgender people. One in particular banned transgender girls and women from participating on sports teams with other girls and women. On February 20th, I issued a formal legal opinion saying that the executive order does not override Minnesota's protections against discrimination. In fact, complying with the sports executive order from the president would violate Minnesota Human Rights Act. That opinion is legally binding in Minnesota unless a court of law says otherwise. On February 25th of this year, our office got this letter from the Department of Justice stating that it would sue us if we didn't comply with the executive order. We got another letter right here, April 8th, dated April 8th, and in this April 8th letter and in an April 16th press conference, the Department of Justice threatened to withhold funds from Minnesota and, quote, seek judicial resolution, unquote. I'm not going to sit around waiting for the Trump administration to sue Minnesota. Today, Minnesota is suing him and his administration because we will not participate in this shameful bullying. We will not participate for two reasons. One, they're wrong about the law, both federal and state law. Two, we will not let a small group of vulnerable children who are only trying to be healthy and to live their lives be demonized. Many of their parents are here today, and I thank them for their presence. The bottom line is, in our Minnesota, everyone is included in the circle of our compassion, and no one is out of our circle of protection. The Trump administration doesn't see it that way. They wrongfully claim that gender identity is false. They've tried to cut off life-saving access to gender-affirming care, and we sued them about that too. They're trying to remove trans kids from public life and from the things that let kids be kids. And now they're coming after Minnesota, threatening to cut off our federal funding unless we turn our backs on our kids. They want to make all of us pay because we welcome all children and want them to be their whole selves. These are bullying tactics, plain and simple. And I've been around my share of bullies in my life, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's that you can't give them an inch. The legal claims in our lawsuit are straightforward and simple. Number one, the executive action is invalid because the Trump administration is trying to use the powers that the Constitution reserves to the Congress. Number two, Title IX of the federal law explicitly prohibits discrimination based on sex. The administration is wrong about the law. 3, the executive action violates the Administrative Procedures Act. And 4, the administration is violating the 10th Amendment, which protects state sovereignty by trying to coerce Minnesota to follow its discriminatory policy. And that's not how it works. That's not how the law works, that's not how the Constitution works, and that's not how democracy works. Trump's burning desire to destroy trans kids and punish us for helping them live and thrive isn't just a violation of law, it's a violation of Minnesota values, and we're not going to sell out trans kids or any vulnerable community just to stay in the good graces of a lawless administration. Sometimes countries face moments like this, faced with a leader bent on destroying entire communities and instilling fear in those communities that protect them. The lessons of history tell us a leader like that doesn't stop at one community. After he's destroyed one, he goes on to another and another and another. These are the moments when you have to say, no, we're in that moment right now in America, and I have the power to say no, and I'm saying no.
You were just watching Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison announce a major lawsuit against the federal government to protect trans kids within the state. Our Esme Murphy is following this story closely, and we'll have a full report on this tonight in our evening news. We'll be right back with more headlines after a quick break.